Okay, students, I'm going to start the molecular genetic diagnosis, and this is going to be the last lecture of genetics. If I'm asking you again and again, if you have any questions, you can ask me now, you can ask me later, or inshallah, when you'll be coming to college physically, then you can ask me. So don't hesitate to ask any question, okay? तो molecular genetic diagnosis. अब मैंने आपको इतना ये बताया है कि these are the genetic diseases, but how they are going to be diagnosed and what is the implication of the diagnosis. Okay, so the diagnosis is very important from the pathology point of view because we are the one who are doing diagnostics. All of you should know the pathology is divided into four branches, maybe now five or six, but we have four branches: histopathology, microbiology, hematology, and chemical pathology. Okay, so now the genetics, molecular pathology is also added. Genetics is done in molecular pathology, and another branch is immunology. So four major branches and two minor branches. Now I'm going to explain one by one all these branches when you come into your fourth year classes. So we leave it at that time, but you can ask questions if you really want to ask, okay? So molecular genetic diagnosis emerged in later half of the 20th century. Conventional karyotyping for cytogenetic disorders like Down syndrome was there. Southern blot for diagnosis of Huntington disease. Sanger DNA sequencing was developed in 1977. PCR is polymerase chain reaction is developed in 1983. Now, nucleic acid-based testing has taken a central role in the diagnosis or management of different diseases. So, if you see molecular genetic diagnosis for the evolving fetus is done, uh, it is a very important thing to do to know the genetic makeup of that fetus. It's mostly done in abroad routinely, okay? Especially if the maternal age is going to be more or paternal age is going to be more, they do molecular genetic diagnosis, okay? So molecular genetic diagnosis is introduced in the 20th century. Conventional karyotyping has been doing further Down syndrome for a longer time. Southern blot is also being diagnosed for that disease. Then Sanger DNA sequencing came in 1977. Polymerase chain reaction and came in 1983. And now nucleic acid testing has taken a central role in the diagnosis and management of many diseases. So if you see molecular diagnosing is transforming medicine, it is a big industry. So if you use it as an industry, it is a big industry, but I think our profession should not be taken as an industry, in my opinion. Okay. So we can have a prenatal testing, we can have disease predisposition, which can be diagnosed, disease detection can be done, drug selection according to the genetic makeup, and recurrence monitoring if the disease is recurred or not. We have the need for molecular testing. Prenatal testing is the baby healthy, means if his or her genetic makeup is normal. Disease predisposition, what diseases is that patient at risk for because of its genetic makeup. Disease detection, does this patient have a disease? Okay, drug selection, what drugs should I prescribe to this individual according to the genetic makeup or according to the receptors which target that gene, okay? In case of carcinomas, we have targeted receptor therapy as well, because when you do breast carcinoma, HER2 receptors, if they are positive in individual, Herceptin is the drug which is given to target that cells in order to destroy them, and the patient should, in order for the recurrence of, in order for the tumor to disappear, okay? Then we have recurrence monitoring. We can do genetic testing for the recurrence monitoring as the disease returns. So there are many steps in which genetic testing can be performed. Like prenatal, if the child is going to be developed into a healthy child, the fetus is going to develop into a healthy child, then disease predisposition, what diseases is this patient are at risk, disease detection, drug selection, and recurrence monitoring. Okay. Characteristic of our detection system. A good detecting system should have three qualities: sensitivity, specificity, and simplicity. Sensitivity means that the test must be able to detect very small amounts of target even in the presence of other molecules. So if the disease is very small, the test should able to detect that amount even if there is a presence of other molecules in a larger amount. So this is called sensitivity. Specificity means the test yields a positive result for the target molecule only. Specific है तो हम कहेंगे कि it is very sensitive test, it is a very specific test. Sensitive तब कहेंगे जबकि small amount of target is also going to be detected by the test. And specific, only the target is going to be detected, target molecule is going to be detected, not any other molecule. Okay. If the other molecules are detected, then specificity obviously becomes very low. Okay. Simplicity. Simplicity means the test is easier to perform and it is efficient and inexpensive. So we can use in a routine laboratory test. Otherwise, if test is very going to be expensive, it's going to be a burden for the patient as well. And if the government is paying, the government, it's going to be a burden on the government as well, because the healthcare system in in some parts of the world is free, and in this case, the test has to be simple and inexpensive. So it can be done for many people. So I hope you understand what is sensitivity, specificity, and simplicity. Okay, so these are the three key factors for the detection of a test system. Indications for analysis of inherited genetic alterations. What are the indications? Most testing is performed during prenatal or postnatal period or in the childhood period. In prenatal period, if the mother is having some defective genes present. In postnatal period, if the child is supposed to have a disease which is not diagnosed, so genetic testing is important in order to diagnose that disease. And similarly, childhood period, genetic testing has to be done to diagnose that disease. Mendelian disorders that have been linked to specific genes disorder, numbers in thousands. There are many numbers of genetic disorders and Mendelian disorders, and definite diagnosis of most of them is possible by direct DNA sequencing. Okay. Recessive disorders are associated with limited number of recurrent mutations. Disorders with dominant inheritance are caused by mutations scattered throughout the responsible gene and represent considerable diagnostic challenges. So when it is indicated in the prenatal period, postnatal period, and childhood period, in all these periods, we have to see if the child is getting a normal development or postnatal period is normal, or if there are any diseases associated, then we have to do the genetic testing. And prenatal period is very important if the maternal age is more. The child should be normal in development. Okay. So Mendelian disorders, as I've told you, are many, and they're linked to specific genes, and definite diagnosis can be done by DNA sequencing. Recessive disorders are associated with limited number of recurrent mutations, and disorders with dominant inheritance is caused by mutations scattered throughout the gene responsible and represent considerable diagnostic challenges. Indications for molecular genetic diagnosis, I'm continuing that. Prenatal testing should be offered for all fetuses at risk of cytogenetic abnormality. Possibly indications include advanced maternal age, as I've already said, a parent known to carry a balanced chromosomal rearrangement, because these greatly increases the frequency of abnormal chromosome, segregation during meiosis, and the risk of aneuploidy and fertilized ovum. Aneuploidy, I told you, not the exact number of exact multiple of haploid number. Okay. Fetal abnormalities observed on ultrasound. Routine maternal blood screening indicated an increased risk of Down syndrome or any other trisomy, and known risk for cystic fibrosis. So we do the genetic testing, and what are the indications in the fetus? Advanced maternal age, when the maternal age is advanced, or a parent carry a balanced chromosomal rearrangement. So this chromosomal rearrangement can give rise to abnormal chromosome segregation during meiosis, or they can give rise to aneuploidy in the fertilized ovum. Fetal anomalies, if they are detected on the ultrasound, then the person has to undergo this screening as well. Routine maternal blood screening indicated increased risk of Down syndrome or any other trisomy. Known risk for cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is also a disease which you are going to study in your 4th year. Other indications of molecular genetics are after birth. That was prenatal period for the indications. Okay, I hope these are clear. These were the indication in all fetuses like pre-birth. After birth, why we do molecular testing? Testing is done if genetic diseases arise, multiple congenital anomalies are present, suspicious of a metabolic disorder is present in that person, unexplained mental retardation or development delays are present in the children, suspected aneuploidy. Aneuploidy, I've told you. Suspected monogenic disease, later age, inherited cancer syndrome, atypical mild monogenic disease, neurodegenerative diseases. So all of these are indications after the child is born and after birth. If the child is suffering from mental retardation or suspicious of a metabolic syndrome, developmental delays, retardation, mental retardation or suspects of aneuploidy, suspected monogenic disease, in the later age, in the later age, why we do this testing is because of the inherited cancer syndrome, atypical mild monogenic disease, and neurodegenerative diseases. We also have to do genetic testing. Okay, I hope this is clear. So, at 3-part periods of life, we can do either when the fetus is not born, after the birth of the child, or in the later age. Indications for acquired genetic mutations. Acquired genetic mutations occur in the case of neoplasms. Diagnosis and management of cancer is all now routinely done by seeing the genetic makeup of that individual in the tumor cells. Detection of tumor-specific acquired mutations, identification of specific genetic alteration that can direct therapeutic choices like HER2 new receptors. HER2 new receptors are present in carcinoma of breast, and Herceptin is a drug which interacts with HER2 new receptor to decrease the amount of tumor present in that individual, and the person should be tumor free then. Okay, determination of treatment efficacy, detection of drugs resistant secondary mutations in the pregnancy. Okay, and so in the management of cancer we are doing it routinely to see what type of genetic abnormalities present in that specific cancer and what is the target therapy around that. So Herceptin is one example around the HER2 new receptors which are present in breast carcinoma. Diagnosis and management of infectious diseases. Detection of microorganism specific genetic material for definite diagnosis and determination of treatment specificity or efficacy and assessment of viral load. So diagnosis and management of infectious diseases is done through the genetic testing as well. Like we are seeing messenger RNA which is present in the target. So this can be targeted and we can be very specific that this microorganism is present. Like we detect DNA of the tubercle bacilli, or we can also detect other microorganism DNA in them. So the disease becomes very specific when we do this genetic testing material. Okay. Immunological diagnostic methods. So the diagnostic methods which are present is radioimmunoassay, enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, which is known as ELISA as well, Western blotting, immunoprecipitation, immunofluorescence, flow cytometry, and fluorescence. Alternative to antigen-antibody reactions, immunoelectron therapy. This is also done. So immunological methods of diagnosis are many, and some of them are more efficient than the other. Radioimmunoassay, ELISA, enzyme-linked immunoassay, Western blotting, immunoprecipitation, immunofluorescence, flow cytometry, fluorescence, alternative to antigen-antibody reactions, and immunoelectron microscopy. They are all done to diagnose these diseases. Target antigens and polyclonal versus monoclonal antibodies. Polyclonal antibodies, they are made against and react with multiple antigenic sites, multiple epitopes. And monoclonal antibodies are different against a particular antigenic site. So monoclonal is against that particular antigenic site. Okay. Targets for diagnostic monoclonal antibodies. Polypeptide hormones like gonadotrophin, growth hormones, tumor markers, prostate-specific antigen, cytokines, interleukin 1 to 8, drug monitoring, cyclosporine, miscellaneous targets, vitamin B12, infectious diseases like chlamydia, herpes, rubella, hepatitis B, leishmania, and HIV. So targets for diagnostic monoclonal antibodies are, the monoclonal antibodies are directed against them, certain polypeptide hormones which are chorionic gonadotropin and growth hormone, Tumor markers, prostatic specific antigen is the specific tumor marker for prostatic carcinoma, but it also increases in case of benign prostatic hyperplasia as well. Cytokines, interleukin 1 to 8, drug monitoring, miscellaneous targets, and infectious diseases against hepatitis B, Legionella, and HIV virus. Okay. Next is the PCR, polymerase chain reaction and detection of DNA. Polymerase chain reaction, you have already heard about it, that we are doing PCR testing of RNA of which virus? Coronavirus. COVID-19 diseases diagnosed. This is the current topic discussed these days. Any examiner can ask you questions from the current topic. So they can ask you how you are diagnosing coronavirus. You can say it is by the polymerase chain reaction. We are doing the real-time PCR in which viral RNA is detected. Okay. So this is the polymerase chain reaction and detection of DNA. DNA can be detected as well as RNA can be detected. PCR analysis, which involves the synthesis of relatively short DNA fragments from a DNA template, has been a main way of molecular diagnosis for the last few decades. This is by the Sanger sequencing, pyrosequencing, single-base primer extensions, restriction fragment length analysis, amplicon length analysis, and real-time PCR. So DNA templates can be recognized by PCR, by Sanger sequencing, pyrosequencing, single-base primary extension, restriction fragment length analysis, amplicon length analysis, and by real-time PCR. So PCR involves one step and two steps. I will explain to you. We do polymerase chain reaction. There is a primer and then polymerase extensions are seen and new DNA templates are going to be formed. Okay. So this is the equipment from which the polymerase chain reaction is done. DNA sample, primers are used, nucleotides are produced. This is the PSA tube, this is the mixer and the tag polymerase. Okay. So there are steps: denaturation, annealing, and extension. Synthesis of new strands, which will show what type of is present in that. There is one-step PCR and there are two-step PCR. Messenger RNA changes to AAA, reverse transcripted, first-end cDNA amplification, and PCR cycle 2. Here two-step PCR as well. Reverse transcripted, first-strand DNA amplification, PCR cycle 1 and PCR cycle 2. Okay. Principles of PCR method. Separation of the nucleic acid double-stranded DNA, annealing of short DNA fragments, primers on the specific sequence, elongation of these short fragments by tag polymerase, detection by specific probes. So when the DNA is fragmented, new strands are going to be formed. They are going to be tagged by the polymerase and detection is by the specific probes against them. Okay, I hope this is clear. So we are continuing with the molecular analysis of genomic alterations. A significant number of genetic lesions involve large deletions, duplications, or more complex rearrangements that are easily assessed during standard PCR method. So hybridization-based techniques are used to study genomic scale alteration, and FISH is fluorescence in situ hybridization technique. A significant number of genetic lesions involve large deletions, okay? Either large deletion, either duplications or more complex rearrangement that are not easily detected by PCR method. For that, we have to do other techniques. The other techniques are hybridization-based techniques, which are used to study genomic scale alterations, or we can do fluorescence in situ hybridization. So they are different from polymerase chain reaction or PCR. In the FISH or fluorescence in situ hybridization, it uses DNA probes that recognize sequence specific to particular chromosomal region. FISH can be performed on paternal sample, peripheral blood cells, touch preparation from cancer biopsies, or on fixed tissue section as well. So FISH is fluorescent in situ hybridization, which detects, recognizes sequence specific to the particular chromosomal region. And it can be done on the prenatal sample, peripheral blood cells, touch preparation from cancer biopsies, or fixed tissue section. So we can do polymerase chain reaction, we can do hybridization technique, and one of them is FISH, which is fluorescent in situ hybridization techniques which detect larger molecules. Okay, I hope it is clear. FISH is used to detect numerical abnormalities of chromosome aneuploidy. Numerical means कि कितने number उनके present है. Whether they are normally number or they are less or more. So they are, FISH is going to detect numerical abnormalities of chromosome which is known as aneuploidy. Subtle microdeletions can be detected by FISH or complex translocations that are not demonstrable by routine karyotyping and gene amplification can be diagnosed by FISH. Chromosomal painting is an extension of FISH. Probes are prepared that can scan the entire chromosome. Multicolor FISH cause different mixtures of 5-fluorochrome in probes that are specific for each chromosome permits visualization of entire human genome. So FISH is a method by which you can detect larger defects like numerical abnormalities, subtle microdeletions or complex translocations which are not demonstrated by routine karyotyping or gene amplification. Chromosomal painting is an extension of FISH. Probes are prepared that can scan the entire chromosome. Multicolor FISH uses different mixtures of 5-fluorochromes in probes that are specific for each chromosome permits visualization of the entire human genome. Next is the multiplex ligation dependent probe amplification. MLPA. MLPA stands for multiplex ligation dependent probe amplification. It blends DNA hybridization, DNA ligation, and PCR amplification to detect deletions and duplications of any size, including anomalies that are too large to be detected by PCR or too small to be detected by FISH. Okay, so this is a new method which is called multiplex ligation dependent probe amplification, which can detect. It blends with the DNA hybridization, DNA ligation, PCR amplification to detect deletions which are and duplication of any size, including anomalies that are too large for the PCR and too small for the FISH. Then is southern blotting. Southern blotting changes in the structure of specific loci can be identified by southern blotting, which involves hybridization of radio-labeled sequence-specific probes to genomic DNA that has been first digested and a restrictive enzymes and separated by gel electrophoresis. So what is southern blotting? Changes in the structure of specific loci can be detected by southern blotting. Southern blotting involves hybridization of radio-labeled sequencing specific probes to genomic DNA that has been first digested with a restrictive enzyme and then separated by gel electrophoresis. Then comes the southern blotting. कितना टाइम रह गया? Southern blotting. We are still left with 10 minutes, so I'm going to finish this. In the southern blotting, the probe usually detects one germline band in normal individuals and a different size band depending on genetic anomaly. With advent of FISH, MLPA, and microarray technology, southern blotting is rarely used now, but remains useful in the detection of certain large trinucleotide expansion diseases like Fragile X syndrome. So southern blotting is no longer there because of the development of FISH and MLPA and microarray technology. Cytogenomic array technology. Genomic abnormalities can be detected without prior knowledge by using microarray technology to perform a global genomic survey. So genomic abnormalities can be detected without prior knowledge by using microarray technology to perform a global genomic survey. Array-based comparative genomic hybridization is also known as array CGH. Means array-based comparative genomic hybridization. In array CGH, that is DNA and a reference normal DNA are labeled with two different fluorescent dyes. Next is the SNP genotyping arrays. New types of genomic arrays are designed to identify single nucleotide polymorphism. SNP is single nucleotide polymorphism genome typing arrays. Side genome wide, which provide many advantages. SNP are the most common type of DNA polymorphism occurring every 1,000 nucleotides throughout the genome. SNP serve both as a physical landmark within the genome and a genetic marker whose transmission can be followed from parent to child. Okay. So the other areas are array-based comparative genomic hybridization and SNP genotyping. SNP genotyping is neotypes of genomic arrays which are designated to identify single nucleotide polymorphism, side genome wide, which provide many advantages. SNP are the most common type of DNA polymorphism occurring every 1000 nucleotides throughout the genome. SNP serve both as a physical landmark within the genome and a genetic marker whose transmission can be followed from parent to child. So single nucleotide pleomorphism genotyping arrays are also very helpful. SNP genotyping array in the clinical laboratory. SNP arrays are routinely used to uncover copy number abnormalities in a pediatric patient where the karyotyping is normally but a structural chromosome abnormality is still suspected. Okay, so SNP genotyping is done in the clinical laboratory where SNP arrays are routinely used to uncover copy number abnormalities in a pediatric patient while karyotyping is normal but a structural chromosomal abnormality is still present. Polymorphic markers and molecular diagnosis. The two types of genetic polymorphism most useful for linkage analysis are SNP single nucleotide polymorphism and repeat length polymorphism, known as mini satellite and micro satellite repeats. Okay. Human DNA contains short repetitive sequence of DNA giving rise to what are called repeat length polymorphism. These polymorphisms are subdivided on the basis of their lengths as microsatellite and mini satellite repeats. Microsatellite and mini satellites can be readily distinguished by using PCR primers. Assays to detect genetic polymorphism are important in many areas of medicine, in the determination of relatedness and identity, in transplantation, cancer genetics, paternity testing, and forensic medicine. So why we are doing so much genetic testing? Because there are so many genetic disorders which have to be diagnosed, and otherwise we have to see the paternity, and also it is implicated in forensic medicine. Okay, you know what is forensic medicine? So human DNA contains, as I told you, microsatellite and mini-satellite. They can be readily distinguished by using PCR primers. Assays to detect genetic polymorphism are important in many areas of medicine. They are important in the determination of relatedness, whether you are related to that individual, not identity in transplantation individuals, cancer genetics, paternity issues of paternity testing, and forensic medicine. Research has utilized SNP genotyping array technology to perform larger scale linkage studies of complex diseases like type 2 diabetes, mellitus, and hypertension, which are termed genome-wide association studies. GWAS is genome-wide association studies. In genome-wide association studies, large cohorts of patients with or without disease are examined across the entire genome for common genetic variants of polymorphism that are overexpressed in patients with that disease. This identifies regions of genome that contain variant genes or genes that confer disease susceptibility and provide a springboard for further targeting the research to find the true positive factors. So genome-wide studies are also done to see what is the underlying positive agent. Epigenetic alterations. Epigenetics is defined as the study of heritable chemical modification of DNA or chromatin that does not alter the DNA sequence. So epigenetics is defined as the study of heritable chemical modifications of DNA or chromatin that does not alter the DNA sequence. Epigenetic modifications are critical for normal human development, including regulation of tissue-specific gene expression, X chromosome inactivation and imprinting, as well as for understanding of the cellular perturbation in the aging and in the cancer. Okay. Then comes the RNA analysis. RNA analysis can substitute DNA in a wide range of diagnostic applications. DNA-based diagnosis is preferred as DNA is more stable. RNA analysis is critical in several areas of molecular diagnostics are now using it. The most important implication is the detection and quantitation of RNA viruses such as HIV virus and hepatitis C virus, and now coronavirus as well. Messenger RNA expression profiling is emerging and is an important tool for molecular stratification of tumors. So you should know why when RNA is substituted, especially for viruses which are RNA viruses as HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, and hepatitis C virus, and now coronavirus is also there, in which RNA is detected by polymerase chain reaction. I have already told you that. Then is next generation sequencing, NGS. It is a term used to describe several newer DNA sequencing technologies that are capable of producing large amount of sequence data in a massively parallel manner. So next generation sequencing is a term which is used to describe several newer DNA sequencing technologies that are capable of producing large amounts of sequence data in massively parallel manner. NGS allows to perform previously impossible analysis extremely low relative cost. Input sampling requirement is simple as compared to Sanger sequencing. Any DNA from any source can be used. NGS instruments are well suited to heterogeneous DNA samples due to implication of common basic processes. Spatial separation. At the beginning of the procedure, individual input DNA are physically isolated from each other. Then local amplification is done. After separation, the individual DNA molecules are amplified in situ using a limited number of PCR cycles. Amplification is necessary so that sufficient signals can be generated to ensure detection and accuracy. Then parallel sequencing is done. The amplified DNA molecules are simultaneously sequenced by addition of polymerase and other agents which each specially separated amplified region molecule yields a read correspondence to that sequence. Sequence reads are short in NGS less than 500 base pairs. Okay. Clinical application of NGS DNA sequencing. Any DNA samples can be analyzed by NGS. The DNA first needs to be prepared for sequencing, and choice of technique determines what data will be collected. Final product is called a library. Currently in the clinical labs, most amplification NGS are targeted towards constitution of genetic diseases and cancer diagnosis using few different basic approaches like targeted sequencing, whole exome sequencing and whole genome sequencing. So amplification is that any DNA sample can be analyzed, but DNA first needs to be prepared for sequencing, and choice of technique determines what data will be collected. Final product is called the library. Currently in the clinical lab, most amplification of NGS testing are towards constitutional genetic diseases and cancer diagnosis using the few different basic approaches like target sequencing, whole exome sequencing, and whole genome sequencing. In the target sequencing, most clinical laboratory tests of NGS fall in this category. Most genetic diseases and cancer targeted testing to see relevant mutation present in that allele. Whole exome sequencing is used in oncology to perform a very broad analysis in research settings and also in some clinical labs. And whole genomic sequencing is the most comprehensive type of DNA analysis that can be performed in an individual, more costly and only used in human genetics when WES fails to provide an answer. Okay. But clinical suspicion of genetic disease remains high. So these are the next generation sequencing, clinical application NGS, DNA, partial local amplification, parallel sequencing, clinical application of NGS, DNA, which I have told you any DNA can be analyzed. Okay. Target sequencing है, whole exome sequencing है, and whole genome sequencing है. This finishes today's lecture. Both the lectures are finished. If there are any questions, you can ask me now. I'm going to unmute you again. Unmute कर दें. कितना टाइम है अभी? जी नहीं, टाइम कितना है? 5 minutes है. Okay, students, we have 5 minutes. You can ask your questions around this topic, around any other topic which we have already covered. And I've done 5 lectures of genetics in which I told you what are mutations. Then I told you what are Mendelian disorders. Then I told you the cytogenetic disorders. Then today we have discussed the mitochondrial disorders, the disorders which are also because of environmental factors added to genetic disorders, in which comes diabetes mellitus, multifactorial. And then we did the molecular diagnosis. Okay, molecular diagnosis is very important. You know, this is a hot topic. How you are diagnosing the RNA in the COVID-19 patients. Okay, so coronavirus RNA detection is by, I've told you, real-time PCR. The RNA is detected, and then I told you what are the criteria for these tests. There should be specificity, specificity, simplicity. So simplicity, that they should be less expensive, they can be easily available to all the public. You know, the coronavirus test was quite expensive. First it was 9,000, but the government was doing it free of cost if the people were going to the government sector. And it has to be sensitive. So whatever we are detecting is specific to that disease and specific. So no, not other any test is going to correlate with that. Okay, it has to be very specific for the target molecules. Okay, so if there are any question, ask me now. I'm waiting for your response. Any questions, students? Okay, so now I'm going to finish this lecture. And when you come back in your classes, I can solve your queries around genetics and as well as neoplasia. If there are any other queries, I'm more than happy to help you. Okay? Thank you. चलें, बात करते हैं। क्वेश्चन पूछने में इंटरेस्टेड ही नहीं है।